Cultures across the world have their own versions of this magical being, from the ningyo of Japan to Ariel of Disney fame. A question does come to mind at the mention of mermaids. Are they real? For centuries, people from all walks of life have claimed to see this myth in the flesh. Are they real sightings? Are they tricks of the light and the eye? Are people feigning mermaid discoveries for the attention and publicity? It seems history has not answered any of those questions. The sightings are still occurring to this day. Is the mermaid a legend? Or is her powerful song still pulling people into a mythical realm? Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe and click the notification bell for more amazing content. So, let's get started. Number 15. British Beach Mermaid. If an image isn't enough to convince someone that mermaids are real, then believers will resort to anything to prove their point. At first glance, this mermaid sighting looks promising, even if it is a bit gruesome. Found on the beach in Yarmouth in Great Britain, the photos were captured by a man named Paul Jones. He captured what looks like a decaying body with a fishtail, and the corpse was mostly intact. However, we implore you to take a better look at this creature. More specifically, look at the tail. The fins look like they're made from black plastic bags. Of course, a find like this wasn't going to be ignored by social media. Those who want to debunk the image said it was the body of a grey seal, while believers are sure these are the remains of a real-life mermaid. What do you guys think? Number 14. The Mermaid of KIRYAT. In 2009, mermaid fever swept through the Israeli town of KIRYAT as a mermaid was making appearances at dusk, often performing tricks for locals and tourists alike. People in the town were claiming to see a being that was part young woman and part fish. The first local to have seen the mermaid claims that she was sunbathing, and as he and his friends approached her, she bounded from the sand and disappeared into the waves. They were all shocked to discover that the sunbathing woman had no legs, but a tail instead. This one sighting was not an isolated event. As word spread about the mermaid, hundreds of people came forward claiming that they'd seen the KIRYAT mermaid. The KIRYAT mermaid has become so popular that the town council has offered a $1 million reward for any evidence that this mysterious creature exists. So far, only passing glances have been noted, and no one is $1 million richer. Number 13. California Mermaid. This video recorded in California allegedly captures a mermaid doing what mermaids are known to do, just hanging out. While the video resolution is a bit fuzzy, you can clearly make out the creature in the video. When the video begins, it's sitting on a beach, casually waving its tail, perhaps resting after a long journey, or just enjoying the rays of the sun. The creature then dives into the water. After diving, it then breaches the water, and you can clearly see its humanoid torso and head. This mermaid doesn't share the typical human appearance that most mermaids are reported as having. Its body seems to be a greyish colour, and its head lacks hair, reflecting a possible more fish-like quality than the romantic image that people often think of when they think of mermaids. Number 12. Columbus and Caribbean Mermaids. Christopher Columbus is famously known for his encounters with mermaids on his voyages near Hispaniola. Columbus wrote in his ship's log that he and his crew encountered 3 mermaids whilst in the water around the island of Hispaniola. Columbus documents that the mermaids were cavorting in the water, and when the ship drew near, the 3 mermaids rose out of the water. To Columbus's dismay, the mermaids were not as beautiful as depicted in the stories of yore. Columbus thought the mermaids to be quite undesirable and mannish. Today it's believed that Columbus and his waterlogged crew were actually seeing a group of manatees. Questions arise, however. Would a seasoned captain like Columbus truly mistake the chubby sea cow for a woman, no matter her appearance? Number 11. Mexico Sightings. The caves in Mexico weren't the only ones to get treated to a mermaid sighting. This incident took place in the Cayman Islands and the Philippines, and apparently Mermaid Melissa was not the explanation. In the photo taken by tourists, the shape of a mermaid can be seen next to them. According to witnesses, the mermaid left a very pungent smell. The mermaid wasn't initially seen while it was swimming with the tourists, but after checking photos, that was when the mythical creature was seen. Unfortunately, at that point, it was too late to try to initiate contact with the mermaid. After the mermaid left, the smell went away. Local city officials have even placed a mermaid statue on the shore, commemorating the frequent mermaid sightings that have taken place for centuries. Number 10. Zimbabwe Mermaids. In 2012, construction crews in Zimbabwe were scared away from their work on the GOKWE and OSBOURNE dams by an irate mermaid. Referred to as the Mamba Muntu by the locals, mermaids were harassing workers as they attempted to complete construction on the dams. The local workers, raised in an area of folklore and myth, believed the appearance of the Mamba Moon 2 to be a bad omen and refused to finish construction on the dam. The local council, in an attempt to pursue the continued construction of the dams, hired white workers to finish the job. However, these workers fled the construction site as well, and they vowed never to return to the rage and harassment of the Zimbabwe River Mermaid. In an attempt to placate the irritated mermaids, local council members and chieftains decided to perform ritual rites and cleansings to allow for further development of the dams. Natural and supernatural are often of the same realm in the country of Zimbabwe. Mermaids or just illusions of the brain and eye? Number 9. The Orang IKAN. During 1943, World War II was still raging on. The war, however, did not stop the appearance of one of the most well-documented mermaid sightings. On the K Islands of Indonesia, Japanese soldiers had set up a surveillance team. During the time there, several members of the surveillance team reported seeing a small humanoid figure in the water with spines on its neck and head and a mouth like a carp. The mermaid figure was often seen playing in lagoons and near the beach shores of the K Islands. Japanese soldiers were bewildered by what they were seeing, but after speaking to the natives, they learned that the mythical mermaid-like creature was actually a known entity called the Orang IKAN, or human fish. As sightings continued, a sergeant with the group, Mr. Taro Horiba, was invited by the indigenous people of the island to see what they'd caught in their fishing nets. Upon arrival at the village, he entered the chieftain's home to find one of the creatures splayed out on the floor. Horiba described a small body with red-brown hair, spines along the neck, a humanoid face with a lipless fish-like mouth full of needle-sharp teeth. Mr. Horiba was confused and shocked by what he saw and urged zoologists to investigate after the war. No one believed any of his stories of mermaids in the K Islands. Did Mr. Horiba see a true mermaid, or was this a simple misidentification? Number 8. Active past mermaid. In 1967, British Columbia became a hub of mermaid excitement when a mermaid was spotted lounging on the shore of Main Island. Ferry riders that evening saw a blonde woman sitting on the beach shore. She was topless, had long blonde hair, and the tail of a porpoise. Some witnesses became very upset as they believed they saw the mermaid eating a salmon raw on the beach that day. After the sighting by the ferry passengers, the mermaid was seen one more time the following week. As the locals got swept up by the spotting of this mysterious mermaid, the town locals began to seek any information relating to her. The town newspaper, The Colonist, put up a $25,000 reward for the mermaid. Arrangements were even made for the mermaid to have room and board once she was found and successfully acclimated into the town setting. Although many believe that this entire mermaid sighting was a charade, there were still many who believed that what they saw was real. Is the Main Island mermaid a myth or a well-played tourism ploy? Number 7. The Cayman. In 2008, waves were being made in South Africa as a legendary mermaid called the Cayman was making a splash in the news. A group of friends were camping near a river when they heard loud splashing and loud banging noises. Upon further investigation, the group came upon a woman in the water. The woman appeared to be pale white with long black hair. The skin had an opalescence that made her seem as if she was nearly glowing. The most shocking feature was seen when the woman turned to the group. She had piercing red eyes. A woman ran to investigate the claims that the Cayman had been seen. She noted that the mermaid made a sorrowful cry like a woman crying. After a moment of chaos with the group, the mermaid disappeared into the murky water. People of South Africa are leery of the Cayman, as she's known for pulling people under and trapping them beneath the depths with the objects in which you most desire. A distressed swimmer or a legendary mermaid? The people of South Africa are still questioning if they saw a legend in the flesh. Number 6. Hebridean mermaid. Scotland has countless mysteries and legends, with mermaids taking a place in their folklore. However, in 1830, a mermaid was apparently seen and subsequently killed by the people of Benbecula. While cutting seaweed near the shore one day, a woman claimed to have seen a miniature woman swimming in the water. Surprised by her discovery, she called many people over to view the water dweller. As men began to rush at her in the water, she quickly swam out of their reach. Some boys in the group threw stones at the scared mermaid, one actually striking her in the back. A few days later, the corpse of the mermaid supposedly washed up on the shore. Like many of the other claims of mermaids, this one was small with pale white skin and had the tail of a fish without scales. After the body of the deceased mermaid had been found, the sheriff of the town thought it was only fitting that the mermaid have a proper burial. The coffin was made and the body was wrapped in a shroud. The mermaid's coffin was then buried above the shoreline where she was found. Although the tale of the mermaid's grave has withstood the test of time, No one is certain where the body was buried. No markers or signs have denoted where she may lie. So what did the people of Benbecula see that day? Did they actually make the horrible mistake of killing a legend? Number 5. The New Zealand Mermaid. New Zealand found itself swept up in a mermaid legend when 2014 a group of fishermen claimed to have found the remains of a mermaid on the South Island. The fishermen were concerned they discovered the body of a possible murder victim. However, upon closer inspection by local authorities, it was evident that the skeleton was not entirely human. The body resembled that of a human-like creature that was shown to have aquatic features. The discovery ran rampant, with everyone in New Zealand learning about the aquatic humanoid found on the South Island. Since the authorities were unsure what to make of the find, the University of Auckland was brought in to explain what the fishermen had found. Can mermaids be added to the already odd assortment of wildlife found in the land of New Zealand? Number 4. Mermaid, India. On December 10, 2017, fishermen in India found something bizarre in their fishing nets. A mermaid. The video shows a mysterious creature that looks like half a fish and half human. But unlike other mermaid sightings we see in real life and movies, this creature does not have a human head. People are quick to post the photos and videos of this creepy-looking creature online, and they believe that they found a real-life mermaid. What do you guys think? Write to us in the comments below. Number 3. Bering Sea Mermaids. Henry Hudson was exploring the cold northern waters off Norway in the year 1608. Writing in his journal, he describes a day when he had a strange encounter with a group of mermaids. The mermaid, Hudson claimed, saw his crew and proceeded to call up more of her mermaid sisters. He described the woman as being as big as the men in his crew, with very white skin and long dark hair. Making his way down their bodies, Hudson discovered the tail, which he described like that of a dolphin, but with the spotting of a mackerel. Hudson seemed thrilled with his discovery of mermaids. Like many of the sailors of the time, people often assumed that it's possible that sailors on the high seas were mistaking animals, often manatees, as these nautical beauties. Hudson's case is strange because sailing in the Bering Sea near Norway, there are no manatees. Naturalist Philip Henry Gosse, in his mid-1800s work The Romance of Natural History, believes there's no way that Hudson was mistaking an animal for this mermaid. He believes seasoned sailors such as Hudson would be able to identify animals in that location easily. Gosse believes Hudson either made his entire story up, or he saw something truly unique to the realm of science. Are there mermaids living in the cold Arctic waters, or was this just a wild sailor's tale? Number 2. The DEERNESS Mermaid. Scotland appears to have its fair share of mermaid sightings throughout history. Beginning in 1890, Newark Bay became the location of multiple mermaid sightings. Many people thought the talk of mermaids was just hearsay and rumour. However, many people began sharing their tales of what they termed the DEERNESS mermaid. However, this mermaid was not the beauty of past legends. People described a 7-foot-long humanoid with pale white skin and black hair. The locals described her crawling onto the rocks using her arms and sliding back into the waves. A few glances of her that people got were at a distance. The DEERNESS mermaid was apparently quite wary and stayed away from the beach shore. However, the DEERNESS mermaid only stayed in the bay for a few summers and then silently disappeared back into the murky depths. Mermaid or whale? Fact or fiction? For the people of Newark Bay, the legend lives on. Number 1. Minnesota Mermaid. In October 2017 in Minnesota, an Australian man was hanging out at the beach when he noticed something strange on the shore. He saw men in yellow hazmat suits carrying a person onto a stretcher. The problem was that the person had a green fin from the waist down. Were these men trying to get medical attention to a mermaid, or were they taking her to a secret lab for experimentation? The world will never know. So, maybe not all of these sightings had a real mermaid, but it's enough to keep the dream alive. Do you believe in mermaids or other mythical creatures? Let us know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Do share, write a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch up my next video.